Once he is gone, the girl too will follow. Then nothing will stand in my way.
The first time Adaeze felt fear was the night she heard her name whispered in the dark. She was only 7. Rain was beating the roof of their big mansion in Enugu, and thunder was shaking the windows. The house felt too quiet, too empty, and she was lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wishing her mother was still alive. Her mother, Mama Ada, was the warmest part of her childhood. She never raised her voice. She never let Adaeze go to bed hungry. She always bought her storybooks and braided her hair slowly so it would not hurt. But all those memories vanished the day Mama Ada fell sick suddenly and passed away before help could come. After the burial, Adaeze's father, Chief Okorie, became a shadow of himself. He walked around the house like air was too heavy for him. He cried when he thought nobody was watching. People whispered that grief can melt even the strongest man. Months later, Chief remarried. Her name was Chioma. She walked into the house with her head high and her perfume strong enough to be noticed from the gate. She smiled like someone who had already owned everything around her. Even before she signed her wedding papers, at first, Adaeze tried to like her. She tried to greet her every morning. She even tried to hug her. But Chioma's hug was stiff, like she didn't want a child close to her. Slowly, things changed. At first, it was small things. Chioma stopped packing Adaeze's lunchbox for school. Then she began to lock the fridge. Then she started giving Adaeze old clothes, and while she bought new ones for herself every weekend. One morning, Chioma looked at Adaeze from head to toe and said, "Your father spoils you too much. You are old enough to do house chores." That day, Adaeze scrubbed the whole kitchen until her fingers turned red. Soon, housework became a life, and school became a memory. Chioma told her father that Adaeze was not feeling well enough to attend classes. He told the teachers that Adaeze had malaria. He told the neighbors nothing at all. But inside that house, Adaeze was washing clothes, sweeping the floors, and surviving mostly on water and leftover crumbs. Every time she asked, "Mommy Chioma, can I eat something?" she received the same cold answer, "You have had enough." Enough when she hadn't even eaten anything. Days turned to months. Adaeze grew thinner. She spoke less. She cried quietly so her father wouldn't hear. She didn't want to add to his stress because he still hadn't healed from losing his wife. But the truth was simple. Chioma did not want her around. One Saturday afternoon, Chioma placed 2 bags of sachet water by the door and pointed at them. "Carry them. Go to the street. Sell everything. Use your brain and don't lose my money." Adaeze stared at her in shock. "Me? Outside? To sell pure water?" "Yes, you. You want to eat, right? Work for it." From that day, Adaeze's life changed again. She walked under the hot sun with dust rising around her slippers. She called out, "Pure water! Cold pure water!" in a small voice that cracked from taste. Sometimes people bought, sometimes they pushed past her like she was invincible. But the most painful moments were when children in school uniforms passed her on the street. She would look at them and remember her old life. Their laughter felt like a knife. She wanted to learn. She wanted to be a child again. At home, Chioma didn't care how tired Adaeze looked. She didn't ask if her feet hurt. She only collected the money and locked it in her room. Chief Okorie noticed Adaeze's weight loss. He noticed her quietness, but Chioma always had a ready explanation. "She is growing fast. Children grow differently. She doesn't like eating the food I cook. What can I do?" She insisted she wanted to help with chores because she misses her mother. Chief believed at first, but something didn't sit well in his spirit. Then one night, something strange happened. Chioma didn't know that Chief had already installed tiny secret cameras around the house. He did it because things kept going missing. Documents, money, important papers. He told no one, not even Adaeze. He only checked the recordings late at night when everybody was asleep. But that night, Chief saw something that made his hands tremble. Chioma was standing in the sitting room alone, but she was talking, not to herself, to someone he couldn't see. Her voice was low and different from a normal tone, almost like another person was speaking through her. "You said everything will be mine," she whispered. "You promised me power. You promised me wealth. Why is he still breathing?" Chief paused the video and leaned forward. Chioma lifted something from the center table, a small black pot he had never noticed before. He opened it, and a strange light shone on her face. "I have done all you asked," he said. "I took care of the girl's mother, like you instructed. I made it look like sickness. Now, help me finish the man so I can own everything." Chief recalled in shock. "You took care of Adaeze's mother? Did she mean?" He pressed play again. Chioma continued. "Once he is gone, the girl too will follow. Then nothing will stand in my way." Could not breathe. He could not believe himself. His hands shook so badly he nearly dropped his laptop. He played the recording 3 times to be sure his ears were not deceiving him. Chioma wasn't just wicked. She wasn't just hungry for wealth. She was involved in something darker, something dangerous, something evil. Chief didn't sleep that night. He stayed awake watching the doors, listening for strange sounds, checking on Adaeze every few minutes. For the first time since his wife died, he prayed with tears running down his face. By morning, he had made his plan. He pretended nothing was wrong. He greeted Chioma normally. He acted like his usual gentle self. But inside him, his heart was burning. Days passed. Chioma kept acting like the perfect wife, smiling, serving food, laughing loudly. But Chief saw everything differently now. He watched her like someone studying a wild animal. He noticed how she locked certain drawers, how she disappeared into her room for hours, how she stared at Adaeze sometimes with an expression he couldn't explain. One night, when Chioma thought everything was asleep, she entered the kitchen. Chief watched her from the camera feed on his phone. He brought out a small bottle. She poured something inside a pot of soup. She stirred it calmly as if she was only testing the seasoning. Chief's heart raced. The next morning, just before breakfast, he quietly carried the soup outside and poured it away. He didn't tell Adaeze why. He didn't tell her anything yet. He only said, "My daughter, eat this bread instead." Chioma came downstairs minutes later, angry that the pot was empty. "Who touched my food?" "There were insects inside," Chief replied. "I threw it away." Her eyes flashed with something sharp before she hid it with a smile. That same evening, Chioma left the house. She carried her handbag and told Chief she was going to visit a friend. But Chief already knew where she was going. He watched her through the street cameras, the estate installed for security. She walked to a lonely corner near a bush path. She knelt on the ground. She began to talk again, to the same invincible force. This time she said, "Why is he still alive? I did everything. I need your help." He felt his stomach twist. He contacted the police quietly, telling them everything he discovered. They followed him to the house. They checked the recordings. They took it very seriously. Soon, they returned with a full team. When Chioma came back home, expecting the house to be quiet, she walked in to meet police officers waiting for her. At first, She tried to lie, then she tried to cry, then she tried to blame Adaeze. But when they played the video recordings in front of her, the truth stood naked. She froze. Her face changed. Her voice shook in a way that made everyone in the room uncomfortable. It didn't take long before she confessed things that chilled their blood. She admitted that she had been involved with a dark group years ago. They promised her wealth and influence. They told her she had to marry a wealthy man and deliver his property to them. They told her the first wife must be removed. Quietly, she admitted everything without shame, like someone who no longer feared consequences. Chief couldn't speak. He just held Adaeze close. Thanking God he installed those cameras. Chioma was taken away. The house felt quiet again, almost like it needed fresh air after everything it had witnessed. Chief knelt in front of Adaeze. I am so sorry, my daughter. I should have protected you better. I should have listened. I failed you. Adaeze put a hand on his shoulder. It's okay, Daddy. We are safe now. From that day, Chief made a promise to rewrite her life. Adaeze returned to school. She stopped hawking water under the sun. She started eating well again. Doctors treated her until her strength came back. And slowly, her smile returned. Years later, Adaeze became a counselor who helped children facing hardship. She spoke gently, but her words carried strength. She knew what it felt like to be silenced. She knew what it felt like to be forgotten. She knew what it felt like to stare at danger and survive. And she made sure no child ever passed through what she did. Her story became a reminder that evil can hide behind the sweetest smile. But the truth, no matter how long it takes, will always rise. Sometimes through something as small and unexpected as a hidden camera.